Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Modine and welcome to Rabbit and More. I'm a passionate rabbit farmer based in Accra, Ghana, and I bring you stories across board from rabbit farmers as well as sharing some detailed stuff with you every now and then. Today is one of such videos where I'm going to share with you why no one is buying your rabbit or why you're finding it difficult to actually sell rabbit meat in Ghana. This could apply across board in other African countries as well, so do well to check with your current country you're based in and also look at how the market operates in a good way. Then you would see. Let's get into the story. This is one thing I've observed with farmers. A lot of farmers in Ghana keep complaining, I cannot sell my rabbit. There are people who contact me to actually want to know how the rabbit industry is, if they can actually, if there is market for the rabbit. And my answer is always the same. There is market for rabbit meat in Ghana. There is market for rabbit meat. Now, I conducted a market research a long time ago. That was maybe somewhere around 2014, thereabout, and 2014, 2015. I made a journalist do that for me over a period of about 6 months, and the results that came was enormous. But it was very, very positive. About 80% of people were always looking to try rabbit meat. They were not of the view that it may not be something they want, right? But at the same time, a lot of people were concerned because they weren't sure if rabbit is actually eaten at all, right? So they were on the fences, but immediately you explain to them what it is, they know directly what rabbit meat is or to be consumed, because a lot of people eat grasscutter, and when you compare them, they are both white meat, right? So it's easier to come across. Now, one of the biggest hurdles I would say rabbit meat is facing in Ghana is the fact that people consider the rabbits as pets, right? But so is every other meat. You know, the chicken you eat today is someone else's pet. Whatever you go across today, the world has become so sensitive to a lot of different topics, and so there are things we are not able to talk about. But in Ghana, a lot of people consume meat, and so rabbit is no other thing than also another form of meat for people to get their proteins, etc. Right? Now, let's get into a much deeper side of this whole conversation. It is one thing to have people who are ready to want to have to consume the meat, and on the other side, the farmers who will actually be ready to give the consumers what they actually want. Currently in Ghana, a lot of people consume chicken, right? And per year, Ghana consumes roughly over 400 million tons of chicken, right? That is a lot. But even with this, only about 50-60 million of this consumption is actually produced in Ghana. The rabbit, I'm talking about the chicken, right? Chicken is white meat, rabbit is white meat, grasscutter is white meat. However, we all know when we want to pitch chicken against rabbit, that rabbit always comes on top because of the qualities and the value it gives us. It's way above chicken. We know that. But let's put that on the side. We can't only market with that. One of the ways we can try to get into the market in a very good way is to understand the numbers game, what we are playing with. Currently, people are selling chicken in Ghana, like a full chicken, I mean, somewhere from 100 to 150 cities, right, in Ghana currently. This is the research I made with other people that I asked of the prices in Ghana, because I'm currently out of Ghana, as you may all know, right? Rabbit meat is also selling around the same price. I'm talking about rabbit meat for consumption. I'm not talking about rabbit for breeding, right? And so my question here is all the time, when you look at the Ghanaian industry, the rabbit meat farmers are actually using the poultry feed. And so whatever cost is incurred in the poultry feed industry is now turned onto the rabbits. However, there is a big difference between the poultry and the rabbit. Whereas poultry only feeds on whatever they are given, rabbit also feeds on a lot of grass. You can actually feed rabbit on just grass and still sell them, and you'll be good, for you not to spend money on the poultry feed. But there is also another thing that the rabbit farmers are not paying attention, which is the actual cost it takes to actually raise one rabbit until they are very old to sell, or until they reach the so-called slaughter weight. A lot of rabbit farmers do not pay attention to this. This, I think, is is the number one reason that is killing us from being able to market the rabbit meat as a whole. Another thing is the fact that we are not able to make good use of the byproducts of rabbit to get it out there to people who need it in order to get to subsidize our income in a very good way. We don't do that. So for example, rabbit urine is a very good source of manure for vegetable farm growers. For example, maize, cassava, whatever thing that you're growing, rabbit manure is very good for that. So people can use it in good concentrations with drip irrigation, for example, as well as the rabbit droppings, the manure. People use it a lot on their farms. And rabbit manure is actually not a hot manure, it is cold. That means you can apply it directly to the plant and it won't burn it. However, when you compare chicken manure to rabbit manure, there is no way chicken manure comes close. Rabbit manure goes a long way to improve the soil. Chicken manure just helps your plants grow for a period of time. Once it's out, then it's completely out. Then you need to actually reapply again. But when you apply rabbit manure, it improves. So these are some of the things that I think farmers can actually add to their game and try to market in order to subsidize their overall cost of running the farm. And that will go a long way to actually reduce the prices of the meat itself. I mean, the rabbit meat itself. Now, let's look at this very critical side of things. I always want to focus on the data. So let's look at a farmer. Most surveys I have done, I've realized that most Ghanaian farmers are all backyard farmers, usually for the rabbit farming. We don't have huge commercial farms in Ghana. In fact, there are only a few Ghanaian farmers who can boast of having over 100 doe units and managing it. Maximum you see is up to like maybe 60 or something. You see a few people having run maybe between 30 to 60 doe units, and that is how it gets, right? But majority, about 80 to 85% are always running maybe a 10 doe unit, a 12 doe unit, a 5 doe unit, and maybe up to the 20 doe unit mark. These type of people at any given point in time have anywhere from 50 to about 200 or 300 rabbits at a go, right? What this means is that if you actually take a critical look at how much money you spend on your farm on a day-to-day basis, you would realize that not one single farmer spends more than 30 cedis to raise those animals until they are slaughter weight, right? Even if you spend up to 40 cedis, right? When you want to combine all other things to it, like your light, your water, every other thing you want to add to it, plus your profit, I think it is reasonable enough to sell rabbit meat for people at about 60 cedis or even 70 cedis at most, right? Looking at the current price of chicken for 150, this is our one-time opportunity to jump into the game and jump in well, because Ghana, the consumption of chicken is going high and high and high, and the production is going low. It's not going any higher, right? Because it's intensive. However, with rabbit farming, we can shore up a lot of the things, because for you to start a poultry farm, you need a lot of space. You need a lot of space. You need a lot of money to go into poultry farming. However, with rabbit farming, all you need is maybe 2 does, and then you go to someone else for them to cross it for you or to breed it for you, and then you are on your way. And right after 30 days or 32 days, you will have your first kids. Rabbits litter averagely 5 kids. And this is what it means to start something without actually putting much pressure on yourself with huge finances. And so everyone across board can actually come on board and start a rabbit farm, and we can shore up the numbers in a very, very good way. We can come in with a very good and competitive pricing. If chicken is selling for 150 cedis and the rabbit meat, let's say comparatively 1.5 kilo of rabbit meat, 1.5 kilos of chicken, if 1.5 kilos of chicken is selling live weight, is slaughter weight, it's selling for 150 cedis, then rabbit can go for half that price, 75 cedis or 70 cedis, which I know it is very possible because of the surveys I've done with other farmers. These are ways we can actually show up. But a lot of people think short term instead of thinking the long term. If you have rabbits and you have your hatches, think the long term. How many years are you willing to keep these rabbits going for? How many liters are you going to get over the period of time? So for example, if you're running a 10 doe unit, how do you ration them? How many times do you let them, what is your production plan? How many times do they litter in a year for you? With that being said, if every single rabbit litters 3 times for you in a year or 4 times in a year for you with an average of 5, right? And you have 10 of them. That means you take the 5 that you have per one rabbit litters 5 times for you in general. If they litter 5 times for you, then 5 times 5 is 25. So one rabbit will give you 25 in a whole year, and then you multiply it by 10, that is going to give you 250. So you have 250 rabbits. If you're going to run your doe unit for 3 years, then you can actually calculate 750 rabbits. And this is how you try to price it and get your money over a longer period of time. But a lot of farmers are fixated on getting the money now, hence chasing the pricing that is already on the market. Someone will put their market out on Gigi, will put their rabbit price out on the internet, Facebook, wherever, and say they are selling for 120. You see a new farmer who knows nothing, who has gone into no data analysis, no calculation as to their cost, their true cost of running the farm, also running with the same pricing without necessarily looking into how much they are burning. And so you would come to the same luck of a frame that nothing is selling for you. It is wise for us to be prudent enough to know our numbers and price accordingly. That is the only way we'll be able to win in the game. And I think a lot of people will be ready to come on board if they try rabbit meat for the same quality or even better quality that the chicken is supposedly offering them, right? If you're getting it for half the price for the same weight, I think we'll be in for a business. And after that, it will keep selling for itself. Do not forget that a few years ago, pork wasn't that huge in Ghana. Yeah, people knew pork, people ate pork, but pig itself had a lot of filthy stories around it, and a lot of people didn't want to go on there. People talk about the religious beliefs on why they don't eat it, because demons were casted into pigs, and because of that, they don't eat pork meat. And also, they see pork to be very dirty animals. They go anywhere, they sleep in the gutters, and they go into mud areas and all that stuff. People did not absolutely eat pork meat. However, today, where are all those stories? They still exist, but people still eat pork meat. And so someone looking at rabbit meat as it looking like a rodent, or maybe let's put it more like a mouse or so ever, or a rat, and for that matter, they won't eat. Someone looking at it as more as it's a cute animal, it's a pet and all that. People grow over it with time. And you just have to get it readily available to them. And a lot of people make their decisions based on money, right? If I'm going to use 300 cedis to buy X, and B is offering me for 100 cedis with even better value, why should I go for 300 cedis? A lot of the decision that is made these days is money driven. And so let us think better in this light so that we know how best to improve our farming space and have a happy farming. I think this is how I will end today's session. If you enjoyed the conversation, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and then together we can grow a healthy and better rabbit farming industry. My name is Modin, and this is Rabbit and More. Happy farming, y'all, and have a good one.